Warning, this podcast may contain bad language and horrendous risks that may leave us with absolutely no arms and legs.
Potentially. Well, it's left us with no Selina.
Yes, there was some unpleasantness.
Yeah,
Either way, she
she's
can never come
not.
back.
No, no, never again. And we're getting near the 4 year mark, so she's not even getting a present now. We'll just do a secret Santa with both of us, which is the most depressing thing I've ever said.
That's not a Secret Santa, is it? That's giving each other a gift.
Yeah, but we're both blind, so we won't know what it is
I can
or
tell you,
who we
mine's
are.
wrapped in a bow and comes as a package. Emphasis on the word hummus.
You're such a fucking tool. Oh, let's do this shit. Welcome back to Seesaw Podcast, the show that is Monopoly without any of the tokens.
Do you know what the most popular token
We're
in Monopoly is?
probably the hat.
No, I'm afraid not. If
It's
you
not the
said
thimble,
hat,
is it?
no, the thimble's the worst. If anyone picks
What
the
is?
thimble, they're not your friend. They're not anyone's friend. They're playing Monopoly by themselves.
Um,
It was the
I don't know.
dog,
The dog.
followed by
Oh,
the car. Then it
what
might
about
have
the
been the hat.
horse? There used to be a man on
Horse.
a horse. I don't think it
Oh
comes in standard ones
yeah.
now.
That must be the newish ones. I always used to
And the
be the boat.
cannon, the boatie,
Hmm.
modelled off the Titanic.
Was it?
I have no fucking idea.
But if you say something with enough confidence, people will think it's true.
Yeah, damn right. Damn right. Oh, and the little wheelbarrow.
Oh yeah. We're just discussing Monopoly pieces at this point. It's not great content. If we were doing like a an early morning radio show, this is prime time radio bands.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Give us
But
a
we're not.
call on 1-800 Seesaw and tell us your favorite Monopoly piece.
Please don't do that. That's not a real number, and we don't give a shit.
Give it a call. Firstly, you may notice that Selena's not here. There was, as we mentioned, some unpleasantness. There's been some rumors floating about on social media and throughout life, which means that unfortunately we have now had to axe her from the podcast, and we probably won't be seeing her again and talking to her if we can help it.
Yep. I mean, we'll peel back the curtain a little bit. Frankly, it was some outlandish comments we had to cut from our Paralympics episodes where she was heavily criticizing a lot of the athletes and giving it all that about how she would have beaten all of them regardless of event. And it rubbed people up the wrong way. And we just can't be a part of that negativity.
Um,
You held a straight face there for
I
quite a
don't, I
while.
mean, what more can you say on that? I mean, it sounds funny when you say it, but in practice, it's just abhorrent,
True.
isn't it, really?
Absolutely true and not fabricated in any way.
And definitely if you say something with confidence, people will believe it.
Absolutely. That's how Trump actually got elected the first time.
He started to build that wall.
He did, but in the presidential election, he also said that I think it was like Springfield, Illinois, immigrants were eating residents' cats and dogs because they had no money for food. And he was called out immediately saying, there's no cases of that at all. And then he just moved on.
Yeah, well, I mean, proof that there wasn't. Just because it wasn't documented doesn't mean it wasn't happening.
True. He's just asking questions.
Exactly. In the same way that Selena questioned the integrity of most of the Paralympic athletes.
Most is understating it.
All but one.
I think, well, some choice words about Johnny Peacock. A
Yeah.
handsome man.
He's
Handsome
a
man.
national treasure. You just can't go at someone like that. Not on a
No,
public forum.
no, you absolutely can't. He's too handsome. Anyway, jokes aside and realistic news aside, what's going on with you, Cleaves?
I've just been on a call with some people. I'm potentially taking on a new mentor through luck.
A mentee,
Mentee, whatever. I could do with a mentor.
a mento.
Uh, Sort of part me led onto the topic that we are talking about today. Because
Hmm.
as per, I'm sat there in a meeting, and I feel like I'm the only one with certain views, and I can't say them because they are uh, cutting, shall we say?
If only you had an internationally reaching podcast where you could say whatever you wanted without any repercussions.
I know, but I don't want to in any way badmouth the charity because I actually really love working with luck and things like that. So,
Yeah,
um,
great charity, but they're not in control out of who goes through their system.
oh
I mean, they've
yeah, and
got you.
it's literally nothing specifically to do with luck, to be fair. It's more the community of visually impaired people at large. So that's
Yeah.
not, it's just in that meeting, there was one or two things that came to me, should we say, that I sort of forgot about sometimes being in the fully sighted world, for the most part.
Okay. Do you want to give examples, or is this something that,
No, we'll probably go into it.
yeah,
How about you anyway? Are you loving the fact that it's just me and you? A Seesaw classic.
yeah,
We've
this is
released it
Seesaw
and selling it
Classic.
to millions.
Yeah, it's like with New Coke, isn't it? You know, release it, everyone hates it, and then go back to the original that everyone loved and jack up the prices.
Yep. This one's only on
Yeah,
Patreon
yeah.
for a
Not
sweet
even my mum
25
is.
pence.
Not even my mum's on Patreon. That's how pathetic we are.
I'm going to Vietnam soon, so I'm going to charge 25 dong for it.
Nice.
That's like
Love a
point
good
point
dong.
zero zero something of a penny.
You know what? Money's money. Get that AdSense, mate.
Yeah,
Get that AdSense.
there'd have to be like
Oh,
10 people just for us to even get a penny.
yeah. Jesus. No, I'm doing all right.
Good.
Yeah, busy with work. The students are coming, and unlike George R. R. Martin's lies, when I say that the students are coming, they actually show up, not 5 seasons later.
Didn't
I
they
mean,
turn up this week? Is it their first week back?
a lot of them are showing up now. Freshers starts next week, and
Uh,
then we are on to the year, basically, just on to all the fun and games that go with that. So extremely busy. We have two really busy times of the year this time, and then in March for elections. But this is my fifth year doing it, so I'm prepared. Like
good.
it's easy, it's fine. You know what I mean? You do what you can. It's never enough,
Are you
but
going to have any sexy parties?
no. Um, we're doing a lot of meetups and things like that for
Sure. Meet
underrepresented
ME80
groups. I hope not. Well,
up
I mean,
UP.
I'm going to be running a fair few of them, so it might have some of that in there. But no, we're doing some meetups. Students are less about the drinky now. They still like a select few of them, but it's not like when we went to university where that was a cultural thing. They really have gone off of that in the last half a decade, I'd say.
Boo.
Yeah, they're a bit boring. They care more about their studies now, apparently. So
Boo.
yeah, but
Boo.
yeah. Other than that, new microphone. So hopefully it sounds good.
We'll edit
Um,
that in post.
yeah, I mean, if it doesn't sound good, you can also blame that on the fact that my internet doesn't go live until tomorrow. So I'm
Yeah, I think it's
still,
probably more the internet bandwidth than anything.
yeah, that's what I'm assuming. But yeah, it'll be fine. Internet from tomorrow. Get my proper fiber broadband put in. Whoop whoop. Well, in theory, it's supposed to be tomorrow. We'll see if OpenReach fuck me. The
Is
old
that part of your
OpenReach
meetup?
around.
You can tell Selena isn't here because this just devolved into like childish innuendos pretty much straight off the bat.
Dude, we built this show for 2 years on that. before Selina was
Yeah,
even
Selena knew what she was
involved.
getting into. It's not our fault we had to get
Yeah,
rid of her.
no, that's it. And to be fair, she only listened to the episodes that involved her, so she was a bit clouded on what we actually did. I
Hmm.
still think those are the only episodes she's ever listened to.
Yeah, she doesn't listen, didn't need to listen to the ones that she was in because she's in them.
Yeah, I know, but there we go. Right, let's get on to this topic, shall we?
Topic of the week.
Do 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 do.
Old school jingles included.
I don't even know if we had that file anymore, so I thought I'd do it with my mouth.
That's becoming the file.
Why is it that a lot of my sound effects are taking over, like the old sound effects?
Don't know, just for jokes. You want to do it? Yeah, you quick blind news sometimes does that as well.
Ba, 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 ba.
Yep.
We don't. I don't actually have any, so
No, me
no.
neither.
No.
It's the quickest blind news ever. See, we're
Yeah,
so much more efficient when Selena's not around.
I
We
know.
should have axed her years ago. Well, a year and a
Before
bit
she
ago.
started.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I don't know about you two, but I'll hold my hands up and just say we made a mistake.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Some
But
people like a couple of gammons chatting about shit.
yeah, that's why pencils have rubbers on the end.
So do your meetups. Safety first,
Okay,
kids.
that is very true. Topic of the week. So, you want to talk about risk, not the game, but risks.
You got it in. Well done, sir.
I know I would. I know I would. But yeah, risks that disabled people may take in their lives, and whether it's worth it. Should you take that risk? Should you not? So, we're just going to sort of go a bit free with this. We've got a lot of students, disabled students, going to university now, opening up a whole new world to them.
Hold
They're
your
going to have
breath
a
if
lot of
it's better.
opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah, I quoted Aladdin. Fuck
So,
off.
so what ideas did you have? Because you brought this to me, and I like the idea, but there must be something in your mind potentially queued up of conversations you've had recently or this very evening.
I've had some recent conversations, and it was with regards to people going to university, potential students, and one of them had an issue. They've recently gone back to uni as a new student, brand new, fresher, and
Mm,
they said on the first couple of nights, students were up till like 3 a.m. and they wanted to sleep. And then
okay.
the other people on the conversation were like, "Oh yeah, if it gets really bad, you could like tell your campus reps, you could tell security, you could ask them to just keep it down a little bit when it gets later on at night." All legitimate suggestions, but all what I would deem to be alienating. And in my head, I'm just
Yeah.
sat there thinking, "Here's an idea. Why not just go have fun?"
Mm,
Like, I think they said that they weren't drinking and all the others were. Fine. You don't have to drink, but on your first day at university as a person with a visual impairment, you got to make the effort. Like you might be used to being more introverted, but in this sense, I thought the risk would be potentially going out and like trying to mingle with the fully sighted people, despite the fact that you are not a drinker and despite the fact that you are not fully visualed. That is one thing. And without Selena,
mm.
I use phrases like fully visualed because I can't think of the exact words.
Fully sighted.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, you were nearly there.
I got fully right. Um,
Yeah. The one word that wasn't relevant.
yeah, all right. Anyway, it
No.
brings me back to A, Tales from the Crypts. Oh, I'm just throwing everything in here. When I first started uni, one of the first nights was a freshers club night. I didn't really know anyone at uni. And I went to the freshers club night at the club on campus with a bunch of people, but they didn't really know my disability very well either. We'd only known each other like 3 days. So you can't really
Mm.
just go around telling everyone like, by the way, I have RP and it has this part, and if I'm going out at night, then I'll need to help me with this.
What's that voice
Uh, okay. I was just on a call and there was this really posh. I
person?
messaged you saying it was Mass Bellend, all right? But it just fucked me off. Interrupted, thought they knew more than everyone else. Quite posh as well. It's like, hey, well, if I could just stop you there, I have my own point. I don't even know what voice I'm doing now. Like, it's devolved into some sort of weird Southpaw voice. Anyway,
Yeah.
it fucked me off big time. Anyway, back to the original story. I'm going out, third night in. We're going to a club. It's uni. You're getting drunk already. Oh, as a precursor to this, we went to the local booze shop. It was called
Mm.
Riverman Booze. And on the way back, I tripped up a step and I dropped the bottle of rum that I was holding, which smashed, obviously.
Mm.
Um, so then I had to go back and get something else. But lesson learned. I learned where that step was, and that glass was there the entire semester. No one cleared that up.
Why would they?
It was in a bit of an odd place. It wasn't in the normal one. We'd taken the back exits into halls. Anyway, we went to the club with a bunch of people I've met within the last 3 days, and I end up losing them in the club with a bottle full of Bud and various other things.
Right.
And obviously, this club's brand new. Can't, I have no night vision, so I can't really see in this club. I don't know where any of these people are gone, and it's absolutely rammed. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
managed to see the bar, and I sort of think to myself, well, look, if I can get to the bar, there's a bit of light there. And it was about 4 or 5 deep, and there's just a guy at the front who was basically taking orders because he was the only one getting served. So I passed my order to him, get a drink. Don't know if I got the right change. And my thought being, if I'm at the bar, someone spots me, might be all right.
Yeah.
Didn't. So I drank my rum, this time not smashed. And I just kind of shifted a little bit to the side of the bar. So I'm on my one, but I'm still by the bar. If there's anyone there, I can I can grab hold of someone if needs be. The campus reps, on Freshers Week, they're usually wearing some sort of brightly colored uniform, aren't they? So you can pick them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
These ones wore bright yellow.
Hmm.
Luckily, I managed to spot them, but irrelevant of who it was, I could have just asked anyone. And I just said, look, I'm blind. I can't really see. Can you help me out to the bus back to Halls? And he did. I got on the bus, and when I got on the bus, there was actually some people there from Halls that I knew as well, so it was fine. And then we all got back. But the point is, I took the risk. I went, and I don't regret it. I got
Mm.
out of the situation. You have to use your wits and your wows.
Yeah.
But I don't regret going out because even when we came back the next day, the people that went out was like, "What happened to you last night?" And just like, "Ah, I got drunk, went home." Do you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
wasn't like, "Oh, I was really blind, so I couldn't see it. I decided I would go home."
Yeah. That's it. And you took the risk. And I think those first few days, even if you're not someone who drinks, especially in the university environment, you have to get involved because you don't want to get the stigma of being that disabled person who isn't going to interact with anyone.
Exactly. And this
Because,
person was in a disabled room as well. And it was just like if they were drinking in their halls, that's, dare I say, a more familiar territory.
yeah, yeah,
It's not like going out to
absolutely.
a random club, is it? So
No. It's an environment that you can control, especially if you know it's going to happen that evening. You can scope things out, and then at least people around there are familiar with like the location and stuff like that. And if you want to go to your bedroom or whatever because you're drunk or whatever, it's a bit more controllable because everyone there will know you at that point.
also, dare I say, it
And
helps if you do drink because you loosen up.
That's true, but there are some people, for whatever reason, will not do that. Some people don't like the sensation, religious reasons.
No, I
if
get
you're
that.
if
I'm
you're
just
comfortable
saying.
doing it, you
Yeah.
should. Like, I would encourage having a couple. Drink responsibly, children. But
I definitely would encourage drinking. Welcome to
yeah,
Seesaw Classic.
well, yeah, because it's kind of the culture, isn't it? And if that isn't your jam, like there are societies and sports clubs out there which they prioritize doing other things. Yeah, they will have social events and some drinking will be involved, stuff like that. But if you're into a sport or if you're into like, I don't know, anything really, like there's going to be a society or a sports club for it. Even the course you're on, there'll be a society for that if you just want to get stuck into your studies. And those are usually the hardcore students who really want to get involved and like network in their area.
Nerds. I
Yeah,
got it.
kind of, kind of. Anyway, the point I was getting at is when is the last time you heard about, like in the news or on social media, a blind person who took the risk going out on a night out at uni, end up in hospital, or, the worst thing that could possibly happen, died?
To be fair, I went out a couple of nights later just in the local area, pub crawl. Again, bit of a risk because people didn't know my situation. And a girl climbed out of the first floor window, totally fully sighted. Went to hospital.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But
blind
the,
people are
the,
more
the point
cautious,
I'm
but I
getting at
think
is like, what's the worst that can happen? You know what I mean? The worst that can happen is someone will help you out because people willing to back then, and dare I say, in a student environment now, they are a lot better
I
than
think
they are.
on my ongoing campaign, people are nice.
Yeah,
We
I
got
think
helped
people
out at the
are
pub the other
nice.
day.
Yeah, yeah, people are nice. And yeah, we had a little bit of help at the pub. No, that's good. I won't make that mistake again. Yeah, learn there. But yeah,
People, asked for a seat and stuff. They helped to see and, came around, took drinks orders, didn't they? They were pretty
yeah,
accommodating.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you got to take a chance. And if it's not for you, fine. But also don't complain that you've become a bit of a social pariah
Recluse.
and you're not making friends if you're not going to make that jump because you don't get one without the other. And yeah, you got to take that chance. You do.
Thanks,
And
Abba.
the worst that's going to happen is you get lost or you lose someone. But you know what? Uber wasn't around when we went to uni.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. Just get an Uber, pop in the little message thing saying that you're the vision impaired or blind person or whatever disability you have. And then the driver will find you and they'll take you directly to where you need to be. That wasn't an option for us.
Yep.
So just do that. Know what I mean? Just do
Hmm.
that.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no reason to not just do it.
Yeah, just ask people as well, man. No
Yeah.
harm in just saying, bro, I'm blind. Where am I?
Yeah.
I did it to three people on a road that I knew once walking home from a pub. I was fucked. But I just and I just kept getting the weird feeling like midway down the road, like, am I on the right road here? And every time the person said yeah. But like and I literally shouted across the
Oh,
road at one point.
oh, fair. I once went up the wrong side of a mountain when I was on holiday in Malia. And I was off my face, and the hotel was on one side of the mountain. I did not go up the right side of the mountain. I chose the other road, and it wasn't until I'd been walking for an hour that I saw a guy on a moped, flagged him, and I went, hotel? And he goes, other side. Like, oh shit.
Hmm. We live and we learn. But
Yeah,
the point is the story's to tell, innit?
yeah, that's it. That's it. It's what you do. It's what you do. Yeah, take some risks, make some friends.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, and all that.
Yeah, you don't want to get to, the age of 60 or whatever and look back on your life and realize you've been a boring fuck.
Well, he might even be. I don't know why, but I get the horrible feeling this quote's from Braveheart. But the brave don't live forever, but the cautious don't live at all.
I don't think that's Braveheart, but
Well, I think maybe because it has the word brave in it, that's the what makes me think that maybe
It's
I'm
not sure
taking
you're
it.
not thinking of the Disney film Brave.
No, no, that quote was way out before that. But anyway,
Oh,
yeah, my point is, take some brave decisions. You might not live forever, but at least you lived a life. Oh, do you know what it is? It's like that Aesop fable thing where that lion's dying and all the other animals are gathering around, like laughing at him, like, you're dying. You're not going to eat us now, are you? He's like, no, but at one point, I was a fucking lion. You guys were
yeah,
pussies. At best, you were a hare and a jackal.
yeah. So
And that's
be a
the
lion.
point. Be a lion.
Be a fucking lion. Yeah. So other risks
Of a risk,
that
yeah.
people could take. We won't go into this much. As far as like we're not going to deep dive into my thought because we've done it a lot. Getting a job.
Hmm.
When you're applying for stuff, you might see that something and think, "Oh, I'm not going to be able to do that and that and that." Looking at the job spec, take a risk, just go for it because you don't know how accommodating they're going to be. You don't know what workarounds there'll be, and remember that when you go for a job, they don't expect you to be the perfect person for the job unless you've worked for that company before or are working there at that time, and you might know a bit more about it. Go for it. Like,
Go for
don't be
it.
afraid to take a risk. You know. Thanks, Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah. Nice. You picked
I
that one
didn't
up.
miss it. I didn't miss a beat. But yeah, when it comes to employment as well, and we won't go into too much detail on this because we've done episodes on this.
Mm.
But don't be afraid to step out your comfort zone. Go for things you wouldn't normally go for. Like I managed a fucking gym with my archery physique, and that was me taking a risk. Like I'd come out of university with a criminology degree. There were no jobs. The police were laying people off. There was no jobs. And then instead of sitting on my ass doing nothing and doing customer service jobs, which there's nothing wrong with, it just wasn't a thing, wasn't
Yeah, that's
really
how I
my
started
jam.
out.
Yeah, I'm not knocking it. It just wasn't really my jam, but I was doing them because, got to work. And an opportunity came up to become a fitness instructor, specifically for disabled people. Like that's what the course was. No guarantee of a job at the end whatsoever. But I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere doing what I am at the moment. Like that's not working. I will take a risk learning a new vocation, 20 something thousand pounds in debt on something I couldn't use. And I was like, fuck it, this cost me nothing. Travel 2 hours on a bus there and back every day for like 6 weeks. Got qualified, started volunteering down a local leisure centre, and then someone left like 2 weeks later, and they're like, "Do you want so and so's hours?" I was like, "Yeah, right." And then 6 months later, moved up to assistant manager. Not long after that, I went to a full manager, like senior manager of a leisure centre, because I took risks. I learned things as I went in an industry that I had no aspirations of going into growing up.
Do you have any aspirations of going back?
No, but I might do some freelance stuff. I might
Yeah.
use some of the stuff I've got and maybe go teach some spin classes at some point. Yeah, I've still got all of that stuff. Do I want to work in that environment full time again? No, not really. It's not really my jam. I've done it. It
But it's not the
you
point, is
know,
it really? The point is you took that risk. You did
yeah,
something completely out of your comfort zone, got a whole new career out of it because the one you
yep,
were, trained for wasn't working out for you.
yep,
And it must have been pretty tough to basically go, I went to uni for like 3 years for this, but it's not getting me anywhere.
yeah. It was. I volunteered for Hampshire Police for like 2.5 years, hoping a job would come up. And this was like after like 2011 recession, and they were just like, "We appreciate what you're doing here. We appreciate that you're putting in work here and trying to get in the door, but we're laying people off. We're not hiring anyone. We're sacking people because we ain't got any money to keep the ones we have, let alone hire more." And that's when I made the jump. And would I, when I moved to Nottingham, I didn't want to stay in the leisure industry.
Ooh, that's another big risk you took.
Another big risk. I moved to a place where I could afford houses. Like there was more job opportunities. I could afford to buy a house.
That's
Um,
actually another thing as well, wasn't it? Because where you were living previously, the job opportunities were slim. Moved to Nottingham, you got a job within a month.
oh yeah, women at a completely different place as well, and that was a risk because I was a senior manager and I had been for a few years. Could I have been stubborn and just kept going for management positions? Could have. But no, I was going for everything. And what happened? I started as an administrator for a students' union. Again,
Oh, he said it
completely out of the
officially.
blue. Yeah, officially, the episode Selina isn't on. Um, Started working at students' union. And now I've been there 5 years, done all sorts of stuff, project management, team management, all sorts of stuff. And who knows what's going to happen in the future? But it's another risk I took, moving to Nottingham, trying a new career. And it was risky, and risk is scary, but I don't regret it. I, it is either like this or still be where I used to live in a one-bedroom council flat with no garden.
You had that little bit
And
out the front.
yeah, I
You had
did.
like a 2 foot by 4 foot bit of dirt.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And yeah, working in the leisure industry, which was fine, not knocking that. Yeah, it's good living. But I'd still be there doing that, you know? Who's to say where I would be? So I don't regret it. And I still have transferable skills from that. Like I said, I can go teach spin classes for £25 an hour if I want to. Like, there's always jobs going, like freelance stuff. I'm an aqua instructor as well. So, yeah,
You're just
during
putting
that.
yourself out there now at this point. Like, by the way, I
No,
can do
no,
this, this,
no,
and this, guys.
no. I don't know if I will, but
You should
I've
teach it
accumulated.
online. Tune
I've
in next week for Seesaw Does Aerobics.
yeah, aqua aerobics without a fucking pool. I'll just put what a background, like
You
a
could do an
swimming pool
archery
background.
pull. That'd be a good exercise. You like the song
Oh,
Superman. I figure that's what yours would be like. Pull the bow, muscle man.
no one who's listening to this knows that song.
Come on, it's like
No one.
universal.
Nah, no, man, we're just old.
Yeah, there's that.
So, yeah, don't be afraid to break the mold when it comes to work and that side of things. Don't be stubborn. Like, yeah, just go for things. You know what I mean? Take the skills you can accumulate and then move on. You know? I mean, I bet you didn't think you'd work in cakes.
No, but I was literally at a pretty low point in my life where I would take any job that came around. Uh,
Yeah, but it's paid off.
yeah. Do you know what was a risk there actually? I'm not sure I ever shared this before, but like, I wasn't doing particularly well from a mental health standpoint before I took that job. And literally the day I started, I had a bit of a sort of a panic attack before basically going into the job. Um,
Hmm.
and I phoned my mum and she didn't answer. I think she's at work or something. And then I phoned my dad, who's not like traditionally great with that shit. Uh,
Nice guy, but no, no, they're not of a generation. My dad's the same. It's
yeah,
not
do
that
you know what I mean?
generation.
And at the end of the day, it's his son, so he'll talk to you and he calm me down a little bit. And yeah, I got my shit together basically. And I walked into the job. But he said to me like, look, if you really don't want to do it, don't do it, but you should probably do it.
Hmm.
Uh, and I did. And I've been there 11 years now. And had I let that get the better of me, just thinking about what the worst things that could have happened,
Yeah.
then do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be in the career I am now. And I started off as a shit job. It was a great and it was an enjoyable job, but it was fucking poorly paid. Whereas
Hmm.
now, I get paid an acceptable amount and
Yeah. And you've
it funds my freedom
got
and
your own
lifestyle.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah, if affording you
exactly.
to get a
It's
flat and then get a house, and You go on holidays, it's giving you a standard of living and lifestyle, which, you know, for all you know, if you walked away from that, it might have been another couple of years before you found a job. Like getting jobs back then, were fucking hard.
Mm. It was quite a pivotal point, like literally just that particular moment, because I could have just walked away and I didn't, albeit I had support from people around me. But
Yeah.
again, even with a sort of poor mental health state, to me, just literally walking in on my first day of the job was quite a risk at that time
Mm.
because I just, it was just fucking terrifying. So,
Yeah.
um, but I'm glad I did. I
Yeah.
would definitely wouldn't be where I am today for it. So, in summary, I'm a massive fan of just taking risks. Nothing ventured, nothing gains. Who dares wins. Doesn't matter how you phrase it. I I'm not saying I'm a big risk taker. You should probably weigh up the odds, but
Yeah.
I'd usually take a risk over not taking one because
Yeah.
ultimately, I always think you can judge an outcome, but really, until you actually do it, you don't know what the outcome will be. So it's almost 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. And if you know the outcome from a previous situation and you know the outcome's going to be poor, maybe you should weigh up the risks a bit better.
Mm. But you don't
You
always
know?
know it's going to be the same,
Yeah. That's it.
but it probably will.
Yeah. We got time for one more?
Sure, if you want. It might get cut.
Yeah.
But no, it's worth you go, man. You got one, you go. For the
No, no.
Twitchers.
So the other risk that I was thinking, and this is something we haven't spoken about, but this is more of a tangible thing that I think can really help people out. And that's financial risks.
Hmm.
Now, this affects everyone. There's always financial risks in life. But when it comes to disability, if you're not working, you have a set amount of income, and there might be some financial risks that go with that. Where I'm going with this, I'm no finance expert, so I don't want to go into that because I'm not an expert.
When has that ever stopped us, Cecil?
Absolutely. But certain bits of equipment and various things like that, they're very expensive. And I think that's risky. Like you see it when there's people around Site Village, and with the amount of people buying things was ridiculous. Like I saw a fair few people putting payments down on very expensive things.
That's
And
lack
to
of knowledge
me,
a lot of the time.
yeah, but I still think there's a risk to that because it's a lot of money. And if you're not working, like you're relying on your benefits. And I think you should be spending your money on things that enrich your life, not necessarily make your life what you would perceive as more accessible. Because
That might
it
enrich your life,
might,
though.
they
If
might.
you used to enjoy reading the paper and someone buys a magnifier at £9,000 to let them read the paper, then I
That's
mean, just to
true.
justify that cost, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. I think where my mind goes is someone might see something like a smart cane, like a wee walk or something like that. And they might think, oh, if I have this, then I will go out more and I'll do a lot more stuff. But it's not solving the systemic issue. So I think it's a financial risk of throwing that money at it to try and resolve an issue that you're not going to resolve it necessarily with that item because it ultimately, I would say it comes down to your poor mobility that you need to develop and work with people on. And that's going to put you at risk. Like you're going to have to take those risks elsewhere without throwing money at it. And I think that's where I get concerned and where I think disabled people have to be a bit more savvy with things. Getting an £800 smart cane isn't going to necessarily mean that you're going to go out more and find the love of your life and get the job of your dreams and then have a three-bed semi and all that sort of shit. Like,
People think that about guide dogs as well, though, and they have to pay for that.
that's true, but people underestimate how much work that goes with it. There's a lot of work that goes with dogs. So I think be careful taking risks on technology and spending money on what can be like ultimately they're there to get the sales, but it's a risk for you. So this is the other side of the coin.
Mm.
We want you to get out there and do all these fantastic things, be sociable, go and get try for those jobs. But it is also a risk throwing the little money you have coming in on the new hotness, like in the new iPhone every year. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Maybe you
I
should be spending that on employment courses, like
I think it's
employability.
I think it's the reasoning behind it a lot of the time that's the problem. You know, if for example you really want to read a paper and you think, oh, if I buy this magnifier, I'll be able to read the paper every day. Possibly not the best reasoning. If you're trying to read the paper now with your current magnifier and it sucks, then buy the new one because you're already reading the paper. It's just making life easier for you.
Yeah, but don't get something as a solution to a problem necessarily, not without looking into it. I think
Mm.
because do you really need a £3,000 desk magnifier? Is that going to accelerate your life to where you want it to be? Maybe it will. Maybe it won't.
With time, my accessible life could.
Are you accessible enough? Yeah. So a bit of a rambly one there to finish off with, and it might be cut, but it was just, yeah, there's some risks that people shouldn't take.
Mhm.
And maybe have a call off period if you're going to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Yeah, do your research, and before you buy something, maybe wait a week and then see how you feel after then. Because, yeah, we've all made silly purchases, but I think with the disability world, there's a lot of snake oil salesmen trying to sell you shit. Do
Snake
you need
oil,
another
you say?
brailer?
I never come across snake oil before. Tell me more. What can it do?
Oh, do I have a sales pitch for you, young man? Genuine snake oil. Put it on your eyes. See better. Right. Shall we end this
Yes.
risky episode?
Have you got a final
Well,
thought? My final thought is do your research, but take risks. There may be rewards.
calculated risks.
Hmm.
And sometimes just fuck it. Just go for it.
Fuck it and bung it.
Yeah. Why not? Sometimes why not? Like just go for it. Yeah.
Cool.
So share with us the risks that you've taken or advice you would give other people about risks that they should potentially take. Maybe they should risk starting a disability podcast in an oversaturated area, in a very niche area as well. Maybe that's a risk. Maybe
Hmm.
you should take it, or maybe you should wait until episode 200 where we go a little bit behind the curtain on Seesaw Podcast and podcasting in general. So if you want to learn about that, click that little subscribe button, give a little twinkly like, maybe a little 5 star, little 5 star. But
Right.
until then,
Done tickling balls.
yep. Until then, we're gonna fuck off.
Oh,
Um, any final thoughts, Cleaves?
I hope you enjoyed Seesaw Classic.
Yep.
We'll see you
100%
soon.
sugar, 50% bollocks. Seesaw, keep it bollocks.
Not even a correct percentage. Doesn't even add
Doesn't
up.
matter. Goodbye, everybody.
Okay, goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Seesaw Podcast. Your feedback and comments mean a lot to us, so if you'd like to get in touch, you can do so in the following ways.
You can find us on X at Seesaw Pod, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube at Seesaw Podcast. You can email us at seesawpodcast@gmail.com and you can stream with us live every week on Twitch at Seesaw Podcast.
Remember to like, rate, review and share with a friend.
This podcast was recorded in front of a blind audience.